Happy Monday, boys and girls. I have to move my screen up for you. I'm excited to be with you again today. And we've got some more information about shapes. We're going to be talking about fractions in this chapter, the first part of this week. And in first grade, we just talk about some pretty simple cases of fractions. And I think you'll already actually understand a lot of these. It's not a lot of new information. I think you'll enjoy it. So today's I can statement is on page 459, and this is Module 16, Lesson 1. It's about taking apart two-dimensional shapes. I can identify and represent how shapes that are the same size and shape can make circles and rectangles. So basically that means that you can identify the shapes. That means name the shapes. Represent, which means you can make them or build them. And you can show how, if you have some shapes that are the same size and same shape, you can put them together to make another shape. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Draw straight lines to make shapes inside this square. So what they're wanting you to do, and this is a really cool lesson, kind of a fun one, is to take and draw straight lines. And they don't have to all be the same, but you're going to draw straight lines to create some shapes however you want to. You can make rectangles, squares, triangles, and create a stained glass window with your lines. So that's what you're doing there. If you have time and you think it's fun, I would love to see you color it and make a really cool design. If you want to make it simple and you don't want to color it, that's fine. But I want you to be aware that there is geometry everywhere and shapes everywhere you look. And so that's why they're showing you the stained glass window. So now we are on page 460. Can you believe we've done almost 460 pages of math and we just skipped one module? So we've done a lot of math this year. Sam has a square puzzle with 4 pieces. The pieces are the same size. So let's visualize that. Remember, with math, we have to get a picture in our head. So let's picture Sam. He's got a puzzle in his hands, and his puzzle is square. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw that square puzzle. Let's make it red. So here is, and again, yours will be neater than mine because these pens are not easy to use with my finger on the mouse pad. All right, so there's my square puzzle. And part A says, how can you show the 4 shapes combined to make the square puzzle? So you actually have some choices. The 4 pieces have to be the same size and same shape though. So most people would think about doing this, cutting the puzzle like this. Okay, and that is one choice. However, you could also divide it like this. How many of you like to have your sandwiches cut into diagonals instead of across? Okay, and there's another option. You could actually slice it into 4 equal skinny rectangles going up and down. So several different choices, as long as all the pieces are the same. And mine don't look exactly the same because my square is sort of oblong shaped. So now here's a circle puzzle. Ava has a circle puzzle with 2 pieces. The pieces are the same size and same shape. So here's an interesting thing about circles. When you divide a circle, if you're going to have completely fair and equal pieces, the lines have to go through the center of the circle. So that would divide the circle into half. If you've ever had a pizza that was cut going across like this, that's not fair pieces, right? This person's piece is going to be smaller than this person's piece. And this piece puzzle is only supposed to have 2 pieces anyway. But I just want you to know that when you're dividing a circle, you have to go across the center of the circle in order to have fair and equal pieces when you're cutting it. All right, we're going to move on. You can discuss the part at the bottom with someone at your house. All right, how can you draw lines to show shapes combined to make circles? Each shape is the same size. All right, so I gave you a clue on that a minute ago. Draw a line to show 2 shapes that are the same size. So it has to go through the center of the circle. Could go this way, could go diagonally, could go up and down, but that divides it into 2 equal pieces, doesn't it? Now in part B, I'm going to draw 2 lines to show 4 shapes that are the same size. So I have to either make an X through my circle or a plus through my circle, somehow trying to make them as close as I possibly can to the same size. So make sure that these are 4 equal pieces so that the friends who are sharing this pizza, did they say what it was? Circle, whatever it is, all have a fair and equal piece. All right. And at the bottom, check understanding. Draw triangles, squares, or rectangles to make the shape. So here's our problem. Sergio uses 2 shapes that are the same size and shape to make a rectangle. Show 2 shapes he could use to make the rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to kind of work backwards. I'm going to give you 2 rectangles. Here's one rectangle, and here's another rectangle. That one's not a very good one. So I have to use 2 different shapes. I'm going to choose up here to use 2 triangles. Are those 2 triangles equal and the same? They are. This side is the same, that side is the same, and then that side is the same. So those would be equal pieces. Or I could divide my rectangle into 2 smaller rectangles or 2 squares, depending the size of my rectangle. So now you need to pause the video for a second because you need to write in here, what shapes did you use? So if I were doing it, I just used triangles and squares. So I would need to write that. And the words are right here, so they should be spelled correctly, right? And you need to be sure that you're all doing your own work. I noticed a few of you are having your moms do some of your writing, so don't do that. You need to do your own writing. All right, on your own, draw lines to show the shapes. Brianna uses 4 shapes that are the same size to make a circle. What shapes can she use? So if I'm going to divide this circle up into 4 different shapes, this is on your own, so I'm not going to do it for you. I want you to think about how you could divide this circle into 4 equal parts. Jake uses 2 shapes that are the same size to make a rectangle. What shapes can he use? All right, so you've got some choices over here, just like on the page we just did. You could make this into 2 triangles, 2 squares. You think about it. 2 equal pieces. At the bottom, draw triangles, squares, or rectangles to make the shape. Okay, so you can use your shapes that I gave you to help you. Draw 4 shapes the same size and shape to make a square. So you have to end up making a square. So maybe you want to use triangles to make your square, or maybe you want to use smaller squares. So you could divide it here and here, or you could divide it here and here. Use 4 pieces to make a square. Over here, draw 2 shapes the same size and shape to make a rectangle. And we've done that quite a bit. So you should be able to figure that one out. 2 shapes to make a rectangle. All right, we're going to keep moving because we're doing 2 lessons a day, remember? So this lesson, we're actually going to skip this page, but I'll read the I can statement. This part is about fractions. So this is about equal parts. So it's really important that you know what the word equal is. And we've talked about it all year. Equal means the same as. And unequal means not the same. Un means not. So unequal means the pieces are not fair or not equal. Equal means they are. So I can identify and represent equal shares and unequal shares in circles and rectangles. So you can X out that page. We're skipping that page and we're going to move right on to the next one. Build understanding. Jake plants a square garden. He separates the garden into 4 equal shares. Show how the garden could look. So I want you to draw a square garden here, and I want you to divide it into 4 equal parts. And there are several ways you could do that. You could divide it into half, and then you could cut it across this way, or you could cut it here and here, making sure that all 4 parts are equal. or you could make it into the 4 triangles, just so you have 4 equal parts. At the bottom of the page, show equal shares of a square garden in a different way. So if you did it this way at the top, maybe at the bottom you want to do 4 triangles. Here they're giving you a definition and a picture. Equal shares means these 2 pieces are the same. In this shape, all 4 of those are the same. Unequal shares, if someone was sharing their candy bar with you and they said, I want this piece and you get this piece, is that fair? No, that's not. So those are unequal, not equal pieces. Or if you have a circle, this line does not go through the center like I told you earlier, so that is not equal either. In Step It Out, draw a rectangle with 4 equal shares, and then draw a rectangle with 4 unequal shares. So think about that word equal and unequal and draw those carefully. At the bottom, draw lines to show equal shares or unequal shares. So you have to read the directions really carefully. In number 1, Andrea cut a square sandwich into 4 equal shares. Show how Andrea cut the square. So you're going to make it fair. You're going to cut it into 4 equal parts. And 2 unequal shares, 2 equal shares. Down at the bottom, which shape shows unequal shares? So you're going to find the circle that has unequal. Are those all equal? Yes. Are those 2 pieces equal? Nope. So you're going to circle that shape right there. Are these equal? Yes. Are those equal? Yes. So the only one you're circling is that one right there. On your own. I know we're going quickly. I hope you're pausing, stopping the video as you go if you need to. Draw a line to show equal or unequal shares. So you might need to have someone help you read these, but I know you can do this if you think through it carefully, and you can totally do this on your own. And we're going to stop for today, and we'll have more about fractions tomorrow. Have a lovely day.